honestly do not remember reading this many books in December. Hi everyone, I hope you're doing great. Welcome back to a new video. Today we're gonna talk about every single book that I read in the month of December. I know that this might be surprising. How to explain it? It happened on a really impulsive thought on the 31st of December while I was still hungover from the night before, and I was just supposed to redo my little banks that I normally have. I ended up getting a fringe, which I think I like. It depends on the day. I don't know about today, and I forgot to put a necklace on. In the month of December, I actually read 20 books, which was absolutely insane. I did not remember that many books. The first one is The Dare by Harley Laroux. I actually gave this book 3 stars, and for my defense, I saw some TikToks about it, and then one of the booktubers that I am following called Jamie's Library, she read it, I think, for 24 hours readathon or something like this, and I was like, very interesting. She seems to say it was very quick or something. I need a quick read to get started in December because I was kind of in a book slump in November. I started reading it, and it is basically just smut, pages after pages of smut, which is really intense and really disturbing. I was not expecting this. And I think that for 2023, I should read more synopsis before starting books, because it is a recurring theme of me not knowing what the book was about and be surprised because it's not what I thought. I thought it was going to be just a cutesy little quick romance about a man and his former bully. Let's say the romance was very not there, but it was about them. Then I finally finished the Shadow series. I read Believe Me by Tyree Matthew, which is the last book in this series. Sadly, my thought on this series is not moving. I did not appreciate it. The story was bleh. Every time you start a new book, it's just very slow, and it only picks up towards the end, and you're like, oh, I will read the next book, because you're still on the thrill of the end of the book, and then it's another just blah. And I just did not appreciate this series. I think overall it would be a 2.75, but I think a lot of people would like it, and I know that a lot of people actually like it. I read Atlas by Elsie Silver, and I actually gave this book 4 stars, and it is a grumpy dad with his nanny, which I found absolutely... I realized in 2022 that I absolutely love single parents trope, which I never thought would be my thing, but apparently it is, and this book was really good. It is a grumpy man who wants to do everything on his own and end up slowly but surely opening up to his nanny, and I'm pretty sure he was a cowboy, which is always a plus in my books. I read the end of the series Sin of Sense. I think I still have 1 book left. I read Ruckus, Defy, and Scandalous because, like, 4 years ago, I think it was in 2018, I read Vicious because my mom bought it for me after my surgery, and I liked it. It was very toxic, but I liked it, and I don't know why I decided that I would finally continue the series. So I read Ruckus, which was a 4 stars. It's actually about Vicious' best friend and the main girl in this, what is it called? Millie's sisters. I kind of didn't know how it was gonna end up, but I really liked this book. There is a bit of forced proximity, which I was living for. Then I read Defy, which is a novella that is supposed to be before all of them. I gave this book 2 stars because it is about a teacher-student relationship, and this is not my vibe. It was very much sexual and not a lot of talking, so no, didn't like this one. But then I read Scandalous, which is a workplace romance with a big age gap difference. This one is amazing. I don't know why I love this one so much, because there is a bit of revenge, because she has actually works with, again, one of Fisher's best friends. If you don't know the Seven of Saints series, it is about 4 best friends who are called the Odd Stars or something like this. I think they are Fun and Sky. Anyway, the 4 of them are CEO of the same enterprise. So each book is about one of the guys. The main girl is actually working for her dad to take them down, and she ends up just having some kind of with the main guy. And once again, it is a single dad. The relationship between the main girl and the little girl is so sweet. I think out of the 4 of them, the book that you need to read the most is definitely Scandalous. I know there's a 5th one, Pain, that is currently on my phone, but I still have not read it. Then I read this season for Revenge by Elizabeth Morgan, and this book was my first attempt at reading holiday book. It was so good. I love this book so much. I gave this book 4 stars. It is about a girl who just got broken up with her boyfriend right before they were supposed to go to a event at his law firm, and he's like, you are not the kind of girl that I can take to this kind of events and meet up with my collaborators because you're not serious enough. I'm sorry, but like, serious enough for what, you stupid man? She ends up having a date with his boss and dating him just with the goal that he will take her to the famous Christmas gala where her ex-boyfriend never wanted to take her, so that she can show him that she is in fact worthy of going to those kind of events, which was very ballsy. And I love this book from beginning to the end. The main guy is so mature in this. It is an escape romance also. Then I finished Hunting Adeline by Carlton Ashby. I gave this book 4 stars. I talked about this in my last What I Read in November. It is a very dark romance book. I would not recommend it to everyone. And it took me a long time to read it because my mental state was not good enough. But I still went through it and I found it so interesting. It was very weird for me to read this kind of book. The next book I read was Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, and I read one of the books from her. I think it was The Friend Zone or something like this, and I loved it. But Part of Your World is like another level. I actually gave this book 4 stars. It is a small town boy, big city girl kind of romance. I don't think she is a surgeon, but she works in the medical field. I think she's a bit better than a nurse. Like, not better, a bit higher in the hierarchy than a nurse, but I'm not sure she might be a nurse. Anyway, she comes from a big surgeon family where they have, I think the hospital where she works is like almost their own. She ends up having car trouble and being at this bar where she met this boy. And I don't want to say too much because the way the relationship just starts to grow is, I just love it. I found it so sweet that you need to read this book. Really, really need to read this book. I love it. Then I finally finished Confess by Colleen Hoover. I gave this book 3 stars. It is not her best work, at least for me. It's not my favorite book from her. It was about an artist and this girl who moves to a city for a reason that we only find out later on. I don't know. I didn't like their relationship. I found it quite toxic in a way that there was a lot of secrets involved with the 2 of them. My second attempt at reading a holiday book was One Day in December by Josie Silver. I gave this book 3 stars because I just was not expecting this. I thought it would be a fun little romance book. It ended up being very deep and sad. Right person, wrong time. This book was really frustrating. It kind of gave me the same feeling Normal People gave me, which is not a thing that I'm looking for because I know a lot of people love Normal People. I just am not vibing with it. Then I finally read My High by Liz Tomford, and this is about a hockey player and his new plane assistant. I don't know, it's a steward. It's a hockey player with his steward. I actually gave this book 4 stars. There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of unnecessary drama, but at the same time, the man was so sweet in this. Once we decided to get this shit together. He was already sweet. It's not the romance of the year, but it's really, really nice. Then this was a complete fail, and I had high hope for it. It is In the Holidays by Christina Lauren. I only gave this book 2 stars, and honestly it's more of a 1.5. It was supposed to be a cute romance book with this girl who went to Christmas holiday to a family with their other family friend and everything, and she ends up reliving the holiday over and over again because she has to make choices to change her life. I feel like the execution was not totally there, and I didn't like the main girl. And then when we had the main interest, I didn't like him either. It was missing something. Then I finished the Sinner series for now. I read Sinners Condemned and Sinner Consumed by some sketcher. I actually gave Sinners Condemned 3 stars and then Sinners Consumed 4 stars. The first book just has a lot of tension and not a lot happening, and then the second book is way more interesting. There is a kind of friends with benefits situation, and it's clearly grumpy versus grumpy. I love them, they're actually very sweet. I really liked Raph actually, but I'm very excited for the final book with the last brother. I think this is gonna be a masterpiece. Then I read Crave by Tracy Wolff. Finally, I gave this book 4 stars. I loved it. It is kind of a mix between The Vampire Academy, Twilight, and I don't know how to explain the plot, but you will see it on another video very soon. For the same video, I actually read The Assassin and the Pirate Lord and The Assassin and the Healer by Sarah J. Maas. Those are 2 novellas which I really like. It was very easy to get into this new world because those are the first book in the Front of Glass series that I'm starting in 2023. Those are really great books, and I would recommend you reading them even though you don't want to read the whole Throne of Glass. Really just read The Assassin's Blade in itself. Then I read Funny You Should Ask by Elisa Sussman. I gave this book 2 stars. It's probably like a 1. Let me just say that I started reading this book in June. This took me so freaking long because I could not get into it. It was so boring for me. I did not like this book. It is about a journalist who had to do an interview where she had to spend an entire day with a celebrity, and things happened, and 10 years later they have to do the same interview again where she has to spend a day with him and la la la. And you see what happened during those 10 years, what happened right after the interview and everything, and it had so much potential and really, really great ideas. But I felt like it just ended up being no, I don't know. Then the last book that I read in December was Daisy Darker by Alice Finney. This book was really nice. I gave this book 3 stars because it was not amazing, but it was nice, and the end was absolutely crazy and I loved it. I was kind of expecting it. It was insane and amazing. Honestly, you need to read this book just for the end. So this is it for the 20 books that I read in December. I hope you had a great time watching this video. Tell me what book you want me to read next, and if you would like me to do more reading vlogs in 2023. Take care of yourself and have a good day. Bye!